Hey everybody, it is Saturday, June 4th, and it is time for my sketchbook review. This week's sketchbooks are pretty varying. I kind of was art blocked almost all week, and I wasn't sure what to draw, so I kind of, instead of focusing on themes or sketches or things to draw, I sort of decided to play more with materials, if that makes sense. I couldn't think of what I wanted to draw. I couldn't think of any sort of storyline to attach my sketches to. So I was just like, you know, I've got all this material and I really just want to start playing with it. I also received my first art subscription box and uploaded a video for that. I did a live stream where I was just playing with materials and I uploaded that. It's a couple hours long and there's no sound, but unfortunately YouTube wants to nail me for like every single noise that is in my background. So I left that one quiet. What else did I do? And then I did my sketchbook review from last week already. And then there's this sketchbook review. I feel like there was more. Oh yeah, the Blackwing Pearl review. Or not Pearl, but Blackwing Pencil review and the full penis speed paint. So you guys have had quite a few videos from me lately, and that's how come I'm a little bit late on this one, is because I feel like I'm clogging everybody's feeds, and I don't necessarily want to do that. Unless you enjoy it, then whatever, but yeah. So it's just been sort of a week of sitting and waiting. I still haven't heard back on my job. They said I would hear by the end of this week, and I haven't heard anything, and that does not bode well for me. Either they have a lot of applicants that they're trying to sift through, or they aren't exactly sure. But at the same time, part of me is hopeful because, well, if they're not telling me I haven't gotten the job, then that might still mean I've got the job. So, and if they haven't told me I have the job, then there's still a chance that I could get, or I mean, I guess they're not giving me a definite answer, so it's still not a no, but it's still not a yes. So I'm trying to hold on to hope, but I really need to start applying to other jobs because I can't keep waiting, you know, for every interview. I can't wait 2 weeks to hear back from them. It's, part of me finds it completely ridiculous that that's how they do it, but it is what it is. So anyway, so let's go on, and I mean, I kind of, that's part of the reason why I was art blocked, is because my focus was on that. So what I did was I sort of took away from the thinking process of art. Well, I'm not saying that I don't think. I mean, I'm taking out the trial and error part of the art because I already was feeling quite a bit like a failure. So I took that part out, and then I just went with some pre-made poses that I already had ready to go. I just referenced back to those and I made final pieces. So that's kind of what you guys are going to be seeing, is more along the lines of that, plus a little bit of exploration with new materials. But yeah, so let's go ahead and we'll start with just the sketches because whatever. These are very early in the week. I was just kind of doodling, and I was thinking about doing a video, sort of some advice for new up-and-coming artists who are a bit younger than me, things like that. And I was actually in the process of recording it and stuff like that, and then I decided, no, I don't want to be that artist who just rants about how the world is unfair to artists and things like that. You guys already know that, and I don't need to explain that. There's enough artists who are like, follow your dreams and do what you want to do, and I'm like, follow your dreams, but have a basis in reality, please, because unfortunately, a few people become successful and then everybody wants to copy them, and here's the problem with that. They've already got who, you know, it's like drawing Superman and then drawing, you know, super Asian man or something like that all of a sudden. It's not going to work, and here's why it's not going to work. The world's already got one of those. Don't try to be somebody else, be yourself. So, like, everybody's like, oh, I want to be a YouTube star. I'm like, that's cool, and I mean, don't put all your eggs in that basket though. There are plenty of very high-end profiled YouTube artists. There are plenty of people who have already picked up sponsorships from companies and things like that, and that's how they make their bread and butter on YouTube. That's cool, that's their thing, but don't expect to follow in those footsteps. I'm not saying it's not possible, I'm just saying don't get your hopes up about that, because I've been in the art world for long enough to understand that, yeah, there are lots of people who work hard and have great success, and kudos to them, but never, ever, ever, ever expect that to happen. You know what I mean? I was successful at art, period. I mean, my house is based on the success of my art. All my possessions are based on the success of my art. The fact that I was able to go back to school is based on the success of my art. I had a very successful art career. But most people, once they get into it and realize the work that's involved with it, they don't like it. And yeah, oh, well, I'll pick and do whatever I want to and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, you know, that's cool. You go ahead and do that. You think you're going to be the next mangaka? All right, cool. But maybe look into other things too, because art as a whole and comics as a whole is a very dying industry, if you guys haven't noticed. It's taken a very indie turn, and it has been for years, and I've known this. So that's how come, that's part of the reason why I got out of it. I was working for one of the only manga publishing companies in America still, and I, again, was successful at it. It was fun. But the demands that they start to make, and I don't have an agent, I self-represented, so I was negotiating my own contracts and things like that. Believe it or not, I'm actually very smart at that stuff. I know that I come off as kind of a flake and kind of a doof, but I know what I'm doing, and I'm actually highly professional when I need to be. YouTube is for funsies, work is for work. Point being is that I was negotiating my own stuff, but those negotiations got harder and harder because the companies themselves are very quick to point out, hey, we can get someone to do this for way cheaper than what you're doing. All we have to do is switch countries, because everything's done digitally usually now. So just whatever. I was gonna do a video about that stuff, and then I got to think, I was like, I don't think anybody wants to listen to that anyway, so whatever. Anyway, so back to the sketches. So these were just kind of doodles. I, again, was very blocked. I was working on a little bit of fill-up, and I was drawing Piper, Clementine, and that's nobody. I was just drawing a figure. I drew Cherry. I just kind of wanted to do her in a leaning pose, and I ended up liking this one, and I've completed it later. Gray of PTA uploaded a little cute orange bat that I said looked like a Cheeto, and I called him a little Cheeto. So then I like little Cheeto. I like bats to begin with, but I like little Cheeto. I thought it was cool that he was orange and he looked like a Cheeto, so I was very happy. So I doodled that real quick, and then a couple more figures. This came about from talking with some friends about why I don't do fan art for The Great Mouse Detective. I mean, there's several reasons why. The fandom is kind of inundated with like a few specific people, and everybody looks for those few specific people. And I've seen some cattiness. I mean, that's true of all fandoms, but it's like, well, you can't draw that character with that character because my character's with that character, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, are you serious? You guys are like 5, but really they're like 30. Anyway, so I kind of doodled this in response to why I don't do more Cherry and Basil, and this is pretty much why, is because she would literally act like a 5-year-old with him. He would say something and she would purposely mock him and then pretend like she didn't. It was, I don't know. Some people find that cute. I find it a little bit annoying, but he does bring out the 5-year-old in her, so it's an interesting dynamic because she doesn't deny that he's smart. She never denies that he's smart. She just doesn't care about his ego. She's like, oh, you've got an ego? Here, let me knock you down a peg or two. But I kind of liked how this doodle came out. I was kind of going for a more zany look on her, but I don't know. I pulled it back. I was going to like make her eyes go off in weird different directions. But this right here is actually quite a cute picture of Cherry. I was pretty amused by it. And then I drew a little Piper, and then I was trying to develop a new character. This was a sketch for a piece later on, and then I was trying to draw Old Dude Mouse. And then I kind of got into, I just want to do a few quick figures, and so I was trying to plot out Clementine a little bit better. I do want her very voluptuous, so I was sort of visiting different dynamics with voluptuous figures. I personally, this one, oh, I love how that one turned out. I like how that one turned out. This one's falling a little flat, but these two up here, very much happy for me. I liked it. And then this is kind of in response to some roleplay that was going on, because even though I was blocked, I was still roleplaying. And I was talking with Kay, and we had a very nice, very sweet, very calm roleplay going on, but I was like, it can't stay like this. These characters are not they can't, after years, like in my mind I'm thinking all of this, I wasn't really telling her, but I was like in my mind thinking they can't just fall into a comfortable position with each other. They can't just fall in love like that. They just can't accept it like that. I was like, there's too many years of hurt behind that for them to actually get along. So they were getting along for a bit, but then I was like, okay, all right, we have to have an argument. So I had to pull the role play in that direction, which is fun, but at the same time, I was like, I don't like to argue. Why can't everyone just get along? So coming up with a reason for them to actually be arguing, and what better reason than politeness to argue with one another. And I'm glad that she picked up on that, because she went with it too. So like they look like they're arguing over something like completely stupid, because they're just trying to be nice to each other. So they're arguing about it. Anyway. So we were talking on Tumblr, and she sent me the gif of the beast going, but she is being so difficult, and I like that part of the movie because it kind of sort of embodies like those harder relationships, like, because you don't, you know, you want to blame the other person, but at the same time you're not exactly being, you know, easy yourself. So that's Jean in a nutshell. So I kind of just drew a picture based on that. Again, I was blocked. I was very like, I don't know what to draw, so I drew that, and then I was just gonna leave it at that, but then I was like, you know something, let's show Piper being a little bit difficult. So I drew this little Piper going or whatever, and I don't know, I like the way it turned out. Like, this is their dynamic, like 110%, and it's very funny to me. And I'm sure that off to the side, like Dr. Solomon or someone saying, you know, Jean, why can't you just be nice to her? And then like, it's something like this. And Jean's a grump, and nobody seems to want to admit it. Yeah, Jean is a huge grump. He is difficult to get along with to begin with. So Piper's tolerance is always tested with him. She's actually a very, very nice, very tolerant creature. And Jean totally, he just blows past all that. It goes right into her annoyance levels. It's great. I like it anyway. But they do like each other. That's the stupid thing. But I don't know. I guess it's typical. But I just quickly scribbled this out. It's on Instagram and stuff like that. I put it up last night because I was like, I need to have a little bit more as far as sketches go. But sorry, I just came back from running, and after I run, I get very tired. Alright, so there's that. Let's go ahead and move on to my other sketchbooks now. Now, I did both my toned sketchbook, and I did my there's a siren going, did my Canton mixed media. So we'll do the Canton one first since it's open. This right here is Cotman watercolor paper by Winsor & Newton. I did this for a review of the Creative Art Box. I threw this together really quick to kind of show how the products worked. And I've already got someone claimed to get the postcard, so I'm going to go ahead and mail this off to them eventually. I'm very lazy though, but I still love the way, look at, I've never used liquid acrylic before, and I just love the way it went on, how it went on, and I love the way it looks. It kind of adds like a dimension to the piece that wasn't there before. I like the Tombow just fine. I didn't realize, I was trying to treat it like an alcohol-based marker, but it's a water-based marker, and that's probably why I struggled with it. But in the end, it actually turned out pretty good. And the fine liner was a fine liner, and the white gel pen was a huge disappointment. Not even going to hold back any punches on that. That was a huge disappointment. So this is going to get mailed off to somebody. Then I did this picture here. This is, I used my Copics as a base, and then I went over it with my Col Erase because I wanted to see how Col Erase blended on top of, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? On top of markers. But I also used them as the undersketch. Now this one didn't turn out too good. I wasn't very happy with it. Again, I was up super late. I think I was up at 2 o'clock in the morning working on this one in particular because I was blocked and stressed, and life just wasn't being nice to me, and I had to do something. So I pulled out a pre-existing pose and tossed it in there, and then I made it Piper, and then I just started coloring. Because coloring tends to bring me down quite a bit. Seeing things come to life and then plotting out where the folds of the clothing are and everything like that. It does bring me down quite a bit. I enjoyed it though. The Col Erase does blend pretty well, but you have to be careful because you can overblend, it looks like, and kind of wear the paper. But yeah, this turned out cute, but it wasn't the best one, which is why I really didn't finish it. This one, on the other hand, turned out fantastic. Well, see, I'm going to own up to how fantastic this looks. First of all, I'm gonna get in real close here because look at this fine detail in her mouth. That tiny little line, like my inking was on spot here. I was very, very, very happy with it. Just those subtle gradations that I was able to get with the color erase. I love my color erase. Best ever. Like, I can put down a base with just my Copics and then I shade with my color erase and it looks gorgeous. Look at these folds, guys. I'm so proud of these folds, every single one of them. The hair turned out fantastic. There's a bit of glare, I know, because of my lights. But the hair turned out, it's a little bit messy up there at top, but in other places you can really see how it turned out. This just overall, the pose, everything. I was sad because I had her shoulder blades and everything. It just, they were very sexy shoulder blades. I was so proud of them. Then I covered them up with fur, not fur, with hair, with hair and clothing. And then part of me was like, I should have just left it nude. I had considered it, but I was doing it on YouTube. I was doing the recording and I didn't want to like get nailed with more violations. So yeah. And then I was moving on to, because I was going to do a picture of Piper pulling her hair up into a bun, and I was going to use the ink to sort of make a little flower pin or something for her, but then I didn't like the way the pose was looking, so I just kind of left it. And then that's it for this sketchbook. So out of all my drawings, like, I'm only proud of one. I hope you guys recognize that. Alright, so in the toned sketchbook, because I have never used toned paper before, I've toned tan, and I have a toned gray, and I haven't even touched the toned gray yet. I'm kind of excited to do it, but I'm having fun pulling out my colored pencils again. Now that I have a blender, I'm not as frustrated with how the colored pencils are turning out. But the first one is that cherry sketch from earlier that I showed you guys. What I ended up doing, and I don't know if it works or not, is let me stand this up, is I went and I did my brush pen over top of the colored pencil instead of underneath, because what I've been finding is that the colored pencil, because of the waxy consistency, it just covers everything. It covers all my inks. And I want, if I'm going to put lines in there, I want people to be able to see the lines. I mean, I do minimal lines for my color pencil pieces to begin with, but I was very sad that it kind of, like, you can see how, like, the ink had pooled, and then it sort of just took on this very rough appearance, and I'm okay with it, but it's not my favorite at all. It looks like the ink dried on top, which it did. I mean, it looks exactly how, you know, life intended, but it's not what I was hoping for. I need to find a better way or better inking techniques for colored pencils or something like that, because I don't want to lose the detail that I get from my coloring. That's why I prefer markers, because I can marker, or I can ink, and I might lose some of my lines with markering, but I can always get them right back if they're ink. With colored pencil, it's not as forgiving because you're putting an alcohol or water-based ink on top, something based ink, whatever, on top of a waxy surface, so it's going to break apart. And I mean, it's a natural water, liquid, whatever retardant having that waxy surface, so it's gonna happen. So I guess pardon me, my voice, I was doing some heavy breathing, so now of course my voice is like not happy with me. I drank some water hoping it would help, but it's starting to wear off. Anyway, point being is that I need to figure something out with that. And then here we have Basil of Baker Street. I asked for a request because I honestly didn't know what to draw next in this guy. And I think it was Kay and Sakura. Yeah. They requested Basil, and I was like, I've never drawn Basil before, so I went ahead and gave it a go, and I think it turned out really nice. His face looks a little flat for my taste. His nose should probably be just a tad longer. His hair was a little messed up, but honestly, whatever. I think the suit turned out really nice. I love how this tie turned out, like the detail in the tie. Like this up. I think the detail in the tie turned out really good. But again, it's the same problem of the ink is sitting on top of the color pencil instead of below it, and it's just not working out. So maybe I need to find something different to ink with. I don't know. But yes, there's Basil. I was very happy with this one. I thought about selling it, but I don't know that anyone would want to buy it. Anyway, so yeah, there's Basil and Cherry in a tone sketchbook. I'm probably going to work more with this. I think my biggest holdup with them is the backgrounds, because I never know what to do. Like, I want to start defaulting to like white outline backgrounds and things like that, and I almost feel like that's a cop-out, but it's not really, you know, because you're still using the paper, but whatever. But alright, so there's tone sketchbook and everything. So that is everything I've done this week. Lots of cherry. That might have to be my thumbnail. There's cherry this week. Look at it. Cherry everywhere. But if you guys liked what you saw, feel free to like, subscribe, comment below. Feel free to check out all the other videos I've posted this week. Really check out that creative art box review. So far, I'm very happy with them. I've looked up the prices of the materials, and part of me is like, yeah. But then I stop and think about the fact that I didn't go to the store. I didn't have to paw through things. I didn't have to deal with people. Then I'm like, you know, it probably was a little bit better. Plus, I got to try things that aren't normally from my area, because we don't carry open stock or hardly anything. So I was pretty happy with it. And yeah, so go check it out. And you guys will see. And plus, oh no, there's something. Oh, phew. Ha, it was a fuzzy. I almost got really upset. Plus, I'm going to toss this in the mail. What am I concerned about? It's probably going to get scuffed up by the time it gets where it's going anyway. Anyway, but yeah, that's it for this week. I hope you guys liked what you saw. Again, if you did, feel free to like, subscribe, comment below. And I will see you guys in the next sketchbook review.